War of the Worlds opens with a man who can see everything, yet still cannot truly see his own family. William Radford spends his days inside a government surveillance system so powerful it can track people across the country, tap into private feeds, and turn everyday technology into a giant net. He believes that kind of control keeps the world safe. But on the day the sky opens and alien machines begin tearing the planet apart, all that power stops looking like protection and starts looking like bait. Will works for the Department of Homeland Security, running threat analysis through a secret platform that reaches into almost every corner of modern life. He is smart, sharp, and completely comfortable watching people through a screen. That includes his own children. His daughter, Faith Radford, is pregnant and working as a biomedical researcher. His son, David Radford, is a gamer and a hacker who spends most of his time angry at his father. Their relationship with Will is strained because he does not know how to care for them without controlling them. On what seems like a normal workday, Will is already juggling too many things. He is helping federal agents track down an online disruptor who has been breaking into government systems. He is checking in on Faith. He is trying to lecture Dave through a screen. At the same time, his friend Dr. Sandra Salas from the National Aeronautics and Space Administration keeps messaging him about strange weather events and unexplained activity in the atmosphere. Something feels wrong, but nobody yet understands how wrong. Then the first strikes happen. Objects slam into Earth across the world, looking at first like meteorites. News feeds fill with panic. People post videos of impacts and fireballs ripping through the sky. Sandra races toward one of the crash locations and quickly realizes these are not natural objects at all. They are delivery systems. From inside them rise towering war machines, long-legged and cold, moving with terrifying speed. Within minutes, they start killing anything nearby. Will is still trapped behind his desk, forced to watch the invasion through cameras, emergency calls, and collapsing news streams. His job instantly turns from routine monitoring into global crisis management. He starts pulling up feeds from around the country, looking for Faith and Dave, trying to guide them away from danger. For all his flaws, his panic in these moments is real. The invasion finally strips away the illusion that he can keep everyone safe from a chair. He has information, but information is not the same as control. Faith is caught in the chaos while trying to move through the city. Dave is also in danger and will have to use every tool inside the system to keep the two of them alive. He hacks traffic systems, taps into devices, and even reroutes vehicles from a distance. Because Will lives through screens and connected machines, the entire battle becomes a test of whether the digital world he trusts can actually save lives. Very quickly, the government pulls Will into top-level meetings. He joins a call with Department of Homeland Security Director Donald Briggs, Secretary of Defense Walter Crystal, and the President of the United States. The military wants answers. Sandra provides the science side, confirming that the objects came from outside Earth. Will studies the invasion pattern and notices something strange. The machines are not only attacking people. They are moving with purpose, almost as if they are hunting for something under the surface of modern civilization. The president authorizes a military response, and for a moment it seems like humanity might have a chance. Fighter jets and missile strikes hit the alien machines. Feeds from around the world show them taking damage. Will even allows himself a flash of hope. But then the second phase of the invasion begins, and that hope dies immediately. The giant machines gather around data centers. Instead of simply blasting buildings apart, they extend mechanical appendages and release swarms of smaller creatures inside. These insect-like machines burrow into the infrastructure and begin harvesting information on a massive scale. Servers shut down, networks collapse, data vanishes. In seconds, the attack changes from a war of destruction into a war for control. This is where the film reveals what the aliens really want. They do not just want land or bodies, they want data. They feed on it, use it, and grow stronger through it. Every digital system humanity depends on begins failing at once. Communication crumbles, transportation goes haywire, military coordination falls apart. Will is horrified because he realizes the invaders are targeting exactly the kind of systems he helped expand. Even worse, as he starts following buried files and restricted records, he uncovers a terrible secret. The government knew something like this was possible. That secret is called Goliath. Goliath is an ultra-classified surveillance program buried beneath the very building where Will works. It was designed to gather and process information on a scale far beyond what ordinary government systems could handle. It is the ultimate concentration of the same kind of all-seeing power Will has spent years serving. Old files reveal that earlier alien contact had already taught officials one key fact. These invaders are drawn to data. They can sense it, consume it, and use it. Despite those warnings, Briggs activated Goliath anyway. Briggs' mass surveillance was worth any risk because it made the state stronger. To Will, this revelation lands like a betrayal and an indictment at the same time. He confronts Briggs, demanding to know why he would turn on the very thing that could attract the enemy. Briggs does not deny it. He insists it was necessary. In his mind, sacrificing privacy and increasing centralized control were reasonable prices for security, but now that decision may doom the entire world. Then Briggs makes things even worse. Once Will starts pushing back, Briggs locks him out of the system. At almost the same time, Will makes another discovery much closer to home. The mysterious hacker federal agents have been chasing, the disruptor who has been embarrassing the government and breaking into protected systems, is Dave. His own son has been fighting the machine from the outside while Will has been feeding it from the inside. The reveal works because it is not only a plot twist, it is the emotional center of the story. Dave has been resisting the exact kind of power that defines his father. At first, Will cannot fully accept it, but the invasion leaves no room for old arguments. He needs Dave, and Dave, despite all his anger, still wants to save people. They start working together through hacked calls and patched signals, trying to reopen pathways into the system Briggs sealed off. Faith also becomes essential. Her scientific work involves a form of destructive cellular code called cannibal, designed to attack harmful targets in the body. It is biomedical research, not weapon design, but once Will and Dave understand that the aliens function through data-driven machine biology, Faith realizes her code may be adaptable. If they can reshape it, it might act like a virus inside the alien network. So the story becomes a race on three fronts. Sandra is trying to understand the invaders from the scientific side. Faith is helping develop a way to poison them. Dave is assembling a loose hacker network to fight back online. And Will, trapped inside the government stronghold built on the very system attracting the aliens, is trying to reclaim control before the military blows the building apart. Dave and his hacker friends launch the first counterattack by injecting a virus into alien-linked systems. For a moment it looks like they might succeed, but the aliens respond instantly. Their connection to the harvested data is so deep that they trace the signal back to its source. Dave watches in horror as members of his team are found and killed. The attack fails and the cost is brutal. By now, the military has reached a grim conclusion. As long as Goliath remains active beneath the building, the aliens will keep coming. If they cannot separate the system from the invasion, they will have to destroy both. Orders go out to prepare a strike on the Department of Homeland Security headquarters. Will is still inside. This is where the film narrows everything down to one desperate last plan. Faith refines her cannibal code into something that can disrupt the alien system if it reaches Goliath directly. The problem is delivery. The building is locked down, networks are failing, time is gone. In one of the movie's strangest turns, the solution comes from the surviving threads of ordinary life that are still functioning in the middle of apocalypse. Faith's boyfriend, Mark Goodman, an Amazon delivery driver, becomes the courier for the final payload. The cannibal code is hidden on a flash drive. Using a delivery drone, they send it toward the sealed building while bombs are being readied and alien machines close in. Will, forced to move physically instead of digitally, leaves the safety of the control room and heads underground toward Goliath. He begins the story as a man who trusts screens more than direct human contact. He ends it running through a collapsing real world, trying to fix the disaster his own beliefs helped create. At the same time, he is finally honest with his children. He sees what his surveillance has done to them. Faith has spent years treated like someone to monitor instead of someone to trust. Dave has been pushed so far by control that rebellion became his identity. Under the pressure of extinction, Will stops talking like an officer and starts talking like a father. The drone arrives. Will gets the flash drive. With alarms blaring, systems failing, and the military ready to erase the entire site, he reaches Goliath and uploads the modified cannibal code. The effect is immediate. Because the aliens have tied themselves into the data network and into Goliath itself, the code spreads through the connection like poison in a bloodstream. The giant machines begin shutting down. Their attacks stop. The smaller harvesters die with them. Around the world, the invasion collapses. And just in time, the bombing is called off. Once the crisis ends, the human fallout begins. Briggs is exposed and arrested for activating Goliath despite knowing the risk, and for abusing the very principles he claimed to defend. His version of safety was always rooted in control, and the movie makes it clear that control handed the planet to the invaders. Will and Dave are suddenly celebrated as heroes, but the victory is more complicated than that. Faith is also recognized because her research provided the actual key to defeating the aliens. Sandra emerges as one of the few officials who acted with clarity from the beginning. The world survives, but it survives only after learning how vulnerable it became by turning everything into a system that could be harvested. In the final scenes, Will is offered a chance to help lead a new surveillance program, supposedly one that will be safer and more respectful. This is the final test of whether he has changed. Earlier in the story, he would have accepted without hesitation. He believed watching more meant protecting more, but the invasion has shown him the cost of that mindset. He turns the offer down. More importantly, he turns back toward his family. The ending is not really about the alien defeat. It is about a man realizing that his obsession with seeing everything made him blind where it mattered most. He can track devices, hack cars, and read patterns across the world, yet he nearly lost faith in Dave because he never understood that trust cannot be built through surveillance. By the time he walks away from the machine and heads toward Faith's baby shower, he is no longer choosing control. He is choosing presence. So War of the Worlds ends as both an invasion story and a warning. The aliens arrive in meteors and towering machines, but the real weakness was already here, buried under screens, systems, and the belief that more data always means more safety. Humanity survives because a father, a son, and a daughter finally stop fighting each other long enough to fight the machine that was consuming them all. And in the end, the world is saved not by seeing everything, but by finally learning what should never have been watched in the first place.